Peace and love, and welcome to Mama Africa's house. We are here today, and we got some great stuff for you. But first, let's start with this intro.
Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the female solution.
Welcome, everybody. We are here today, and we have a special guest to me. We have Mama Lotus Love joining us today. I am so grateful for this sister here. Has been in the healing community for a long time. And I am about to bring her on to us. Peace and love, Mama Lotus. How you feeling?
I'm good. Peace and love. I am doing well. How are you today?
I am good. So I'm excited because I like to tell you, you are one of my first mamas, my first spiritual mamas. We met, was that doing Hill is a Color?
Mm-hmm.
Hill is a Color. You was all magical and wonderful. And I was fresh on my spiritual journey and learning, and you were there as you have been for many people in the community. But I do want to start off first just by allowing you to introduce yourself and telling the people a little bit about you, which we can, talk about that for a few months. So let's condense that down to just a few minutes. If you could please just, tell the people about, just a brief summary of who you are and what you want to share. And then we'll go deeper into some other stuff because I know you're going to leave some stuff out. But go ahead, Mama.
Hey, so I have many names, right? Lotus Love or Mama Lotus is one of my community names that I did not give myself. The community actually named me that. I'm a whole bunch of things. I'm a mom first and foremost. I'm a healer. I'm a Reiki master teacher. I practice three different systems. I'm a sound healer, life coach. I am a diviner, so I'm able to tap into what someone needs, their spiritual gifts, and provide them with some guidance. Um, I am also a yoga instructor. A lot of people didn't know that. Um, so there's that. I'm a dancer. Um, what else? Yes, I'm a body worker. So I do Asian body work with a focus on acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine. I'm a herbalist. Um, I am a initiated priestess of Ifa, so I'm a Yanifa. Um, and what else? Just in general, an overall healer that will use all of my different gifts to um, guide the community, you know, but first guide myself and then others.
Ashe. So you talked a little bit about Reiki. I feel like that's probably the first kind of introductions that we had. Well, not really, because we did the foot washing for the elders when we were doing the Healers of Color. Um, I appreciated you for that. You came with all your goods, and you've been doing healing and body work. Should say if we could add nails to that. Uh,
Yes, you can.
and you've been doing
You
that for
can.
years. Go ahead, Mama.
Look, I was like, you can. I just had to show I was cute too.
Period. Period. I know you've been doing nails, you've been doing feet. We did a foot washing event for elders. We were going to different nursing homes and senior buildings, washing the feet of elders. Why was that important to you?
Oh my God. Really, like the first thing, sitting at the elders' feet
Not
as
sure.
is always a huge thing. And to provide them with some place of where somebody would care for them and love up on them, and to wash someone's feet is such a very sacred like practice. um not just in people thinking about the Bible, but in other Eastern traditions as well, to wash the feet. And also, it provided a space for us to sit and listen to the elders and give them, the opportunity to talk about whatever it is they wanted to talk about and be heard. A lot of times people don't listen to or hear the elders. They don't get to share all their cool stories. And I remember when I was only doing nails, I will never forget that there were, elders that would come to me that they would always talk about how nobody would do their feet or how hard it was, so on one end, because they're older. So the skin looks different, the nails look different if they're on medication, and people made those elders kind of feel bad. And I really enjoy, even now, I still do, like the elders right now have been like really the only ones that probably could get me to do that for them. And I will sit on the floor. I do their feet. They tell me all the stories, all the good stuff that is like, you can't Google the vaults of what the elders have to say. But that was very, very important to me, to sit and be able to listen to the elders. So even now I sit and do my dad's feet, and he'll try to give me a tip, and I'll call all my siblings and some of my nieces on our group chat, and I'll be like, okay, Pop about to give me my tip. What's the tip? And so he'll tell us something, you know.
Yeah, I know back then, for me, it was an opportunity to give back to people who have given for years. Even if you're a bad person, but if you got kids, you done gave something for some years. So I felt like if you live this earth, for so many years, you have definitely given back. And I think it's important for us to be able to pour back into people that have been pouring out of themselves for so long. And like you said, that physical touch is very important for elders. So I was always very grateful to be able to be in a space of healing, which is kind of how we met. I started that journey of healing through Healers of Color retreat, where we
Mhm.
went to Black Oaks. And hey, there go Mama Sona on the line. We did the Black Oaks retreat. What were you doing at the Black Oaks retreat? We did the Healers of Color. I know we talked about modality. That was my first time hearing about modalities. Back then, what was that like? How many years ago was that? 15?
I, I think about 15. Yeah, it was about 15 or 14 years ago. Hmm.
And you were there doing Reiki, healing people. I think we was there to doing Reiki 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. You were servicing everybody. You want to
Yeah.
talk a little bit about how did you become a part of the Healers of Color? I guess I could say a little quick background about the Healers of Color is a space where the healers came to be healed. That was the idea. We had a great idea, but because we healers, we give too much, which was one of the things you were doing at the retreat. You was healing so many people who didn't really have a lot of time to, get some of that healing back, but like being reciprocity. But because you are such a lover and a healer and a doer, you don't usually allow other folks to put the work in. But just talk a little bit about how it was to be a member of the Healers of Color and then being a healer that heals healers.
Yeah. So, I was doing my community work for a long time by myself. Just learning, exploring, growing and what my journey was. And I used to always go to the Healthy Food Hub. It was at Betty Shabazz, and that was how I met a lot of the people, because I was there. I always, in that space, I always volunteered my time and space, even before my children went to that school. Very different then. Um, and that's how I started meeting a lot of the people. And I had gotten invited, to be a part of the Healers of Color. And it was a space where I got to meet other people and their modalities and share what their experiences were. And it was, nice because I had a group of people that I could go out into the community and do the work with. And
And that's important too, because I feel like a lot of times as healers, we do a lot of stuff one on one or by ourselves. But I think it's very important when we're talking about supporting healers is that you have people that you could go out and do the work with, so you're not just pulling it all from yourself. But go ahead, Mama.
oh yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, like, honestly, I think that even in the work that I do now, and I have, like, I'm work with so many people. I have my team now. I have my team that I call just to work with me and work on me. Um, it's not a space that I let everybody do for me, because I know that, I'm not to say I'm a lot, but I got a lot that
Yeah, that
that
you is a lot. You a lot and then some and some more of that. Okay. And ain't no
I
wrong with that. I think a lot of times, we try to dim our light for other people because other people can't handle the light. But let me tell you that, Mama Lotus, you have definitely been so many things to so many people in the community, that I feel like sometimes your light isn't able to, to be shined upon. And I fuss at you a lot about, like, girl, look, you do this and doing that. I feel like a lot of times in communities, they put a lot of emphasis on initiations or things like that, or rites of passage. But I can say that true, what do you call it? Titleships or whatever comes directly from the work that people do in the community. And you have definitely been doing work since before I've known you. You've been the mama to so many, help healing so many sisters within our community, and the brothers too. Don't get me wrong, because I see you behind the little brothers too. And they love Mama Lotus, Mama Lotus love. So I'm getting a little emotional. I'm trying not to be emotional. But I remember laying on your table, and shedding some tears and having to get up and shake it loose. And, I appreciate that, because a lot of times we have so many things down on the inside of us that we don't even know is, like blockages and barriers that we have, and I noticed that a lot of people, when they come and they see you, or when they sit at your table or come to their presence, to come pass some coffee with you, shake your hand, whatever it is, you're going to leave an impact on them. You're going to leave some type of word of wisdom or some love. Even your hugs are healing and beautiful. So I could go on and on about you, because I love you. You are my sister. And I always call you my mama, my sweet feet. We ain't gonna talk about that part right now. We're not gonna talk about that, because I know you sweet to so many people. And everybody got their own tea or what they like. But just going back a little bit, since we were talking about like different types of initiations or rites of passages and things like that, you talked about some of the systems that were a part of, which I feel like is one of those things where people come from one thing and dive right into something else, and don't really be knowing about something, but the first thing they hear is almost like rebounds on relationships. It's like, oh, I ain't like this, oh, here's this, I'm going to do this and do that. I feel like you've been able to navigate a lot of people through their spiritual journey, and just a physical journey, just a journey of healing. How is that like for you, guiding people through healing? Oh, we done popped a picture up of us at the Yoni steam, and we got Mama sat right out. Matter of fact, let's talk about this right now since this picture is up here. I know this is one of your elders as well in the tradition. Would you like to talk a little bit about this picture, what this picture means to you, and
Yeah.
go from there?
Yeah. So this was 10 years, a little more ago. And that was the womb steaming, the yoni steam healing part of the practice that I do. I am a yoni steam instructor, so I could actually, what I was learning in this process, I actually am now able to teach people and actually certify them. That work was very important to me because before I even knew anything about what that process looked like, I was hearing, my ancestors, they were like telling me, look, go get this, do this, put this on high, put this in here, do that. And I was like, I remember the first thing I said to my ancestors, I was like, you want me to put a woman on a pot with some heat and do what now?
All right, everybody might not be ready for all of that, Mama Lotus.
I just, I'm
But
just,
now, because some people who's watching may not understand what are you talking about. So when we talk about yoni steaming, what is that? Like, what is that good for, and how has that helped in your healing aid to heal women? Speak on that, please.
yeah. So, yoni steaming is a actual tradition that dates back to, you know, ancient Chinese, Asian medicine, back also before that, the sub-Sahara. So it's a very intense African tradition that we have used steaming to do healing, to bring balance to a woman's hormone, to bring her back to homeostasis after childbirth, after loss of a child, if she has had any womb conditions such as fibroids or, cysts or issues. In that way, we've used that to assist women who wanted to have children, and it was good for men as well. It's good to help them with their prostate gland,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's good to help them with their emotional stuff as well. And that work, we are taking sacred herbs and oils, and we are putting you over, a source of heat, and we're steaming you. We also do other things where we're not steaming with water. We sometimes just do with the herbs. Um, we've been doing that for a very long time, and so that
I
that
know that along energetically, like us as especially Black women. Now we on the women's solution, on the women's solution table right now, and I know a lot of times we keep a lot of trauma, a lot of hurt, a lot of things in the womb, in that in your gut. We That's where
yes,
we get all our feelings and emotions, and we pack that in. So I think that
yes,
also just letting people know that yoni steaming is a way to release some of that. We go and steam our face, and we go and get in the shower, steam. We do all the saunas and all of that type of stuff, but not. A lot of times we haven't normalized steaming to release the energy, or like steaming for the menstrual, steaming for five, all of those types of things that steaming is good for. And I was there, so I got my little certification too. So Yoni Steam certified as well. I haven't practiced it as much as I would like to, but it's definitely a beautiful thing. We got my other sisters. We got a few sisters on here. This is a beautiful time, a very interesting time, but we're not gonna talk about everything that happened that day. Boy, was that an interesting time. Uh,
yes,
Hold it down. We had all kind of stuff going on up in there, but it was very beautiful, very loving, very nurturing. Very grateful for that. Now I do have to talk a little bit also about your jewelry making. I mean, you are definitely multi-talented. We ain't even talking about the painting stuff, but all of your creative stuff that you do. From Mama Lotus Love Healing. You want to talk about some of your jewelry, why you chose to start making jewelry, and how that jewelry fits in with your healing and all of those beautiful things.
oh look, okay, girl, first off, I'm looking at that. I'm like, oh, that do not. So those are separate pieces. They don't go together. But I was looking like, okay, they
They
kind of
do.
look right. So yeah, I was having me a moment like, do I want to keep that set for myself then? Because now it's a set. Thank you.
I done found many of your pieces like, oh, this is let me put this on. And you are also a vendor in Mama Africa's marketplace, with some of the Mama Lotus Love jewelry be flying off of the shelves, baby. But go ahead, talk about how you got into jewelry making and what does that mean in your practices of being a healer.
Yeah. So jewelry actually was one of the very first ways of some of the expression of healing for me. So as a nail tech, I got to go back to nails because that was, nails and art were my first healing modalities and love, and they still are. But as a nail tech, I would be doing people's nails and specifically their feet. And I noticed I'm like, okay, these people aren't just coming for my technique. They are coming for something else. So that's when I got into like, I'm gonna put these herbs and these oils in their foot bath. And then I got into like, well, I'm gonna put these crystals and have them all around in this space. And then I fell in love with the crystals. Fell in love with the crystals. And then I'm like, well, what if I wear them? And that was actually how I got into jewelry making. I got into jewelry making because of my love of the crystals and the healing that they would do, and wanting to provide a space of where you could always have that healing until you didn't need them anymore. It wasn't, my jewelry was never just about, oh, that's beautiful. It was a way for me to channel healing through wearable art and wearable healing. And then, culturally for me, it made sense from some of my ancestors, right? Some of my ancestors are Edo people, and we were the brass makers, the mask makers, and we made art and wearable things like art. So when I'm making my jewelry, I just am literally channeling uh, all things healing, all things spirit. I'm selecting different stones to create different things for people. And oftentimes, when people choose jewelry from me, they're not like, I had a pair of earrings that I just recently made, and I shared them for like 2 seconds on Facebook, and I got like some messages. I want those earrings. They look like a snake. This is the year of the snake, and they were reading themselves from the jewelry. And so a lot of times I will do that, like when I'm at places and I have my jewelry, I have crystal books on my table for them so they can educate themselves. And also, I like to prove to people that you know more than you think you know.
That's why
Um,
going into the crystals, since we veering off just a tad bit, we were talking about, I put it out there that we were going to be talking a little bit about crystal and crystal healing. So do you want to talk about the importance or some of the ways that we use crystals in healing specifically, or like a specific, what's your favorite crystal that you use? Like what's a multi-purpose crystal? Just talk a little bit about that.
yeah. So, with crystal healing, it goes so many ways, but from being in the room with you, from wearing them, sometimes putting them in your pocket, being intentional with um, meditating with a crystal. Also, sometimes people use crystals to make elixirs. So some of them are safe enough where you can put them in some water, extract some essence from it for a little bit, take the crystal out, drink it. Now they have all kind of cute little cups where you can do that. And it's, like you can just Google where to find them. They're usually nice glass cups that have crystals in the middle for you. Um, you know, the other part is knowing that we always have whatever we need, and going past even needing the crystal's presence. When you know the essence and the energy of that crystal, if you want to channel that energy of having a rose quartz to just be love, then you are going to be able to call that spirit of that stone in, right? Because it is from the earth. So it's
So
not.
some people get a little nervous when you say spirits. We want to say energy. We call it the energy. Can we?
Yeah, we can say energy, and the thing is too, we also have to expand our mind, especially when you got something that you're nervous, about. That is actually you receiving a message of, hey, this is something I need to be cued into. Hey, this is something that God is trying to, or the Most High, created, divine, however you see him or her, whatever name you give, is trying to give you a message. And so, like, I always say, look at when something makes you nervous. I'm just doing that as nervous. Stop for a minute and go like, am I safe?
Mhm.
Are my nerves safe? Okay, they are. All right. So now let me breathe and let me get past trying to make my nerves be the facts, right? Because sometimes that be our biases, sometimes it's our background, and sometimes it's what we don't know. And it's okay. It's a good place. Fear, nervousness, it's a great place for you to learn from. But we'll say energy. But we'll say energy. And sometimes people get nervous about energy.
They do. People get nervous about a lot of things,
So
especially things they don't know about.
yes, and then this is why part of my journey I like to do is prove to you know more than what you think you know, because you just didn't have language for it. But we are spirit. We are.
I
So
say.
there are things that you just gonna know, period. Whether I taught you about it or not. But
I say.
um crystals are, um you can go digging for them. We used to have a lot of crystal mines here in Illinois, but they're all closed now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I don't really know completely why they're closed now.
Probably raping the soil and
I that was what I that was what I thought. That was what I thought, because I'm like, well, maybe, but in my mind I'm going like,
or
if
was
the
they hating on us?
I
That's
don't know.
possibility. But we do have to take a brief break for a commercial.
Okay.
So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Naima Latif, and if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody: friends, neighbors, family members, co workers. People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies, cleaning supplies, home repair, transportation services, child care services. Whatever you're selling, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money.
Hi, I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three black moms.
And in case you didn't notice the resemblance, we're also three sisters.
We're going to be coming to you every week, sharing our successes and our mistakes as we navigate our lives as moms, wives, sisters, daughters, and of course, Black women in today's world.
We'll talk about it all: race, politics, religion, economics, culture, and we'll take a look at everything from whether or not to use corporal punishment to how do you teach your children about sex.
Look for our upcoming book, Growing Up Charles. It's a personal story about our lives growing up in Maple Park on Chicago's South Side. I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Three Black Moms.
And we're back. Thanks to the word for our sponsors. so, um, since we actually, going into the three Black moms, we could definitely talk about the fact that you are not only a community mama, but you are a mama yourself, raising two young Black men. That is definitely a feat. They are some beautiful young men. Would you like to talk a little bit about how it's being a mother and being a healer and being all of those things, but also taking time out personally for your family?
Yes. So I believe in firstly, healing work is sure it's nice for you to learn how to do these things. And what I know is that a lot of healers are like, oh, I want to learn how to do this so I can help the community or make some money or feel powerful and have this title and do this and that. That's all cool, right? With time, those all of those things come, but it has to be for yourself first. And for me as a mom, I try to bring in all of my, healing things to the table whenever my children got something going on in their life, if they're not well, if they have, something going on with just being a young Black man, stressors and things that happen. I really try to mother them from a place of, I love them, but also like, yes, they my children, but they ain't mine. You know what I mean? So I'm remembering that they have their own personality, they have their own lives, they have their own thoughts around things, and I try to use that same spirit of let me hear my son out. Let me let them talk to me. Let me be rational. Let me not fly off the handle about certain things that, they go through. Let me use, like, okay, you got certifications and this and that and the third and mental health, first aid responder, blah, blah, blah. Those things. How do you bring that into the table when you're talking to your children? And I think that me doing my healing work has allowed me space as a mom to just kind of provide some grace for them and grace for myself when, as a mom, when I sometimes I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know how to do a thing because you never know what you have to go through and that you're faced with. But one thing I know is that I'll be safe, and I know that, I do the best that I can. And I tell my children that all the time, like when something is happening and I may not completely understand what's going on with them, but, I try my best to like listen to them, hear them out. And I'll just always remind them, like, look, I'm doing the best I can. Like, I know, right?
I mean, it's definitely a challenge raising, you know, children. Definitely a challenge raising young men. And you're doing a wonderful job, Mama. They are very beautiful young men.
Thank
Strong
you.
community. They drumming, they doing all types of stuff. Definitely following in your footsteps and showing, all dedication and hard work that you poured into those beautiful young boys. So just wanted to say, congratulations to you for
Thank you.
showing up not only for the community, because a lot of people show up and then neglect things at home. So thank you for, raising these beautiful boys and having them in our community so that, when our other children get older, we know we got some young Black men out there that's doing some good stuff, that's been raised
Yes.
by somebody beautiful. Um, Now I also just wanted to talk a little bit about, I don't know if this is too much to go into, if you're ready to talk about this, but how did it feel to go through your initiation to become an Ianifa?
Um, okay. Well, I will say that like I was preparing for 20 years for this. And I know that some people it's okay, whatever your journey is. Some people, they get a divination and they find out right then, like, okay, you got to go right now and get initiated because, uh, the circumstances around your life and destiny are crucial at that time. But that wasn't the case for me. If I always provided me room to explore, and also, if I always gave me, the right people to connect with. And so for me, it's been a long journey. I've helped others get prepared and ready for them to go, to do their initiations. Um, and when it was time for me, I was able to tell my elders, like, okay, so it's time. I was taught many different things, ways to check in, divine. I had been on the path doing my spiritual work. Like I said, it's been all those years, but specifically within the tradition, I had the last 10 years I had been in my formal priestess training. I had came from training Elays, and it was kind of strict, like there was some things that even people who I knew that were priests at the time, they like, girl, we don't even be doing that. But it was part of my path, and part of what I needed. My elders, my Ianifi and my Oluwo, just actually said to me yesterday, they were like, you like your rules. And I said, hey, it's a part of my destiny. We know my destiny, so we know that that's a part of it. But like that part for me, the rules allow you space to play and do the things that you want to do and grow. And for me, my initiation process, because I didn't just go through it with myself. When my son and I 10 years ago got our hands of Ifa, we did that together, and we both got initiated together, as well.
Just going back just a little bit, because again, we have some people here that does not necessarily know what it means. What is a hand of V5? You said 10 years ago you and your son got a hand of V5. What is a hand of V5?
Yeah, so when you get completely initiated to your destiny, it's like you have two hands to handle your destiny. But when you're on the path before you get there, some people go straight to get initiated, some go and get a hand of Ifa. That's like having one hand handling your destiny. And in that process, you go through learning what is your purpose, because everybody chooses something and a reason to be here. When you come from, we'll say, the heavens, you have a story and a path, and most of your life you are going to be faced with all kinds of things, thoughts, and situations that are to steer you to that. And sometimes it may feel like you're going against the grain, because you are going against the grain of what you said you were going to do. Having a hand of Ifa, handling your own destiny, allows you the space to say very specific prayers for yourself, protection for yourself. It helps guide you on the path of how to fully handle your life and your purpose.
I
Um,
think I think with a lot of folks that could be useful in so many different ways.
yeah,
Um, I think, like, I'm saying that to say, like, not so much just any Ifa, but throughout our lives. Mostly in a lot of different traditions, and not even African, but across the world. You have points in your life where you do certain things to help you to go on that path. I feel like a lot of times we have some of those things in African Americans, but I feel like a lot of other places pour more into that, and it's very specific about how they guide their families or children or themselves through that process. I know that also it comes along with taboos, things to stay away from, things not to do, things to do. I am specifically grateful about a lot of the taboos I received as I've been also on a journey, as well as, being initiated to EFI and EINFI as well, was, getting my life in order. You know, I've been there, done that, been around the world and not, yeah, yeah, yeah. I done found myself, but and still also, in that, and EFI has been a great tool in doing that, and having um my destiny revealed to reveal itself, and not even just through words, but the expression of even like Mama Africa's Marketplace. I was initiated 4 years ago, actually this month, and then I came back and I had Mama Africa's Marketplace the very next month without even intentionally, trying to do it. So just opening up those doors. Sometimes I like to use initiation as a door opener. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've opened this up, you've opened that up, you seeing things clearer. You've put yourself in a position to be able to go into the next phase of your life with some type of protections and acts. So how did well, you kind of fairly a little bit new, even though you've been doing it for a long time, but how has that how have you seen that manifest or help your life since becoming initiated, having your hand to be fire, like those spiritual rites and the rituals that you had to do in order to help yourself get on your path and your destiny? How has that I guess I can say change your life?
Yeah. So for me, I have a strong Ori, right? My higher self, the spirit that walks within me, um, it's pretty strong. And so, like, I had been before we got our hands of E5. I had been on the path, doing what I needed to do, and then once we got our hands of Ifar, like, it's some of us, will be on the path, but you might not be in the on the right end of the lane. Having our firstly our hand of Ifar just kind of was like, and it just made things complete. Um, Ifar allowed me to connect with people who I was supposed to. Praise God, right? For that, because um, it allowed me even more opportunities to do my community work. So it let me have a different, like, focus. It's a difference between being accurate and precise, right? And Ifa provided space for that, and um, being able to not just change my life in that way, but yes, help with my son, one of my sons, and having if I also, you know, there were times that when I think of my children in particular, um, one of my sons almost died. He almost died. He had something happened to him, and having a fire protected him and saved him. And that was life changing because I wasn't ready for my son to go, right, at that time. And not only that, I was actually reading something that a priestess, Anianifa, she spoke about how, like, she did a divination for somebody and Iku, death, came up, and how the person didn't do the spiritual work that was advised of them and what happened to them. And I thought about for myself, you know, before getting initiated, but at that time I had my hand to be still. Me being able to have the tools to be able to tap into my destiny and what was going on in my life at that time, um, it actually saved my life because I had that come up for me, and I was able to like physically, not only just on the mat, be able to see that, but I was able to physically in real time, in real life, be able to count all the times that you know that was occurring, death was trying to come around. And I was so thankful for the prayers and thankful for the spiritual work and the rites of passages and everything that I had gone through, because then I got to watch it save my life. And now going through being initiated, like I will say that for me, because I was on the path and doing the things, it just added another level of protection and concentration in the energy. But because I was already walking in the space and I was already willing, it just I didn't go like a lot of people who they didn't know, or they didn't want to be initiated, or it was hard for them to go through some of those. I don't call them taboos. I call them guidelines. It was hard for them. And for me, both me and my son, when we, got a lot of those things, we were just kind of like, not to say it didn't phase us, because
But
we
you had
were,
already been on the path. You had already been doing the work. You had already been there. So it was just like it was the icing on the cake, but the cake had already been there. So it did that. I
because
do.
the elders
Okay.
really prepared me. And I'm thankful that having Ifa and having a strong Ori that led me to places where I was not getting scammed. And I also was patient with myself, and I never listened to anybody say things like, no, Risha gonna leave you. No.
Well, look, we ain't gonna get off. That's a whole nother show. But if you could, I would love to. If I do me no no. What's your If name now? It sounds like a song though. Come on now, tell us what your name is and what it means.
Girl.
If I do me no no. Come on.
Ifa do me ninu.
Ashe. And what does that mean?
Ifa brings me happiness.
Ashe. Ashe.
And so that isn't, for me, that is very, it's a constant reminder when folk acting up. I don't expect you to bring me happiness and joy and nice kind sweetness. Ifa brings me that.
And if
So,
I within, so you always have it. You never can lose it. Nobody can ever take it away from you.
yeah.
So one more question, because we are coming to the end of this beautiful conversation. You have had a few different events here. The over the during Black History Month. This is one of the last events you had here at the shop. Could you tell us a little bit about why you chose this event, what it meant to you? Because the conversation was awesome. Now we got about 5 minutes to talk. So the conversation was a very beautiful conversation. It was a lot of beautiful sisters were here. Awesome dynamic women. And we did get a chance to cover a lot about, healing sisterhood in the Black community, and things like that. Since I've known you, you've been about this. So we could break it down very small to say, why did you choose this for Black History Month? And then just to kind of wrap things up so we can, begin to wrap things up, talk about how, like, how is that going to be going on in the future? Like the, event you're going to be having, probably can delve a little bit into how you were a doula, and all of those things. Gather all those things up in there if you can, and just tell us a little bit about healing our sisterhood.
Yeah, so healing our sisterhood is very important to me because, oftentimes we're always looking at other people to blame for all of our things. And for me, I am a sister. So I'm thinking of me first and how does that connect to the rest of everyone and all the things in my world. And healing our sisterhood. If we have issues with our children, with our men, with our world, we have to always check in here first. And how are we interacting with each other? Like, women always need women. Like, you could be a woman with a family and a husband and everything is all good, but you let something happen to you, it is your sisters that's gonna come and help take care of the family while you are recouping, or even to just pour into you. And I find it where we have a lot of forgiveness towards other people, men, when they're going through stuff and they're doing things to us, but we don't do that with each other. And it's like healing our sisterhood and not competing with each other and not being in our ego about it. It allows us room to really expand, right, the world around us. And so if we're having these issues, relationship issues, um it affects our men, it affects our children, it affects our money, it affects the way the world views us. So it's important to me that sister relationships are strong, because at the end, that's who you're going to have. You're going to always have your sisters um present, and it's who you are. You should be looking into ways of, if I'm doing healing work, I should, as a Black woman, I should have a focus on healing Black women. I should be focused on that because it's my reflection, right? So I try not to shy away from those things. And even with my work as a doula, it was very important to me that right now Black women are dying
Okay, like we're having a little technical difficulties, but that is all right. I know Mama Lotus has been working with the Chicago Volunteer Doulas and a lot of other different types of organizations
Can you hear
where
me?
doula work is very important. Yes, we got you back, Mama. Go ahead. You can finish.
Can you
You
hear
got-
me?
yes, ma'am. We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Oh, but I can't hear you. Wait a minute. Something happened. A call came through,
That's all
and
right.
now, okay, what about now?
Yep, we can hear you if you can hear us.
I can. Sorry about that. A call came through.
That's all right, Mama.
Black women
So you
are
were
dying
just
by the
talking about, yeah, doulas. Go ahead.
yeah. Black women are dying by the billions, and they're also not reporting those high infant mortality rates. And so for me, I thought about this work. How can I change that narrative to heal my sisters? I want babies to go home with Obama, and I want mamas to go home to a baby. So providing space of doulaship and um, helping people, women specifically, when you help your sisters, you help everybody, you know, which is part of, that's the focus of the work with Dione Steeman, the spiritual coaching and development and all that other stuff. It's important to me on all ends.
Ashe, Ashe. Um, what was I about? I'm sorry. I didn't threw my whole concentration off. Yeah, I think that like you were saying, you also had another event here. We have doula circles, and I was like, I'm not a doula, and you like, have you ever done this? Have you ever done that? Have you been a part of birth? Have you given birth? Would you like to talk a little bit about that? How us as women can support women without the official certifications or trainings, to be able to have the title to say doulas, like we talked about earlier, people feeling like you have to do certain things in order to have rights to things that you already do naturally in your life. How do you encourage women to be able to support their sisters and cousins, aunties, friends, and sisters in birth work, and being able to acknowledge that we naturally are birth workers because we are birthers?
Yes. Well, one of the things is to recognize that the word doula, it talks about us providing advocacy, emotional support to those that are giving birth. That's the basic bare minimum of what a doula is, right? Doulas are not here to make medical decisions. We're not here to say, no, you should not take pain medicine. You should not get a C-section. We're not here for that. We're here for, how you doing? Your back hurting? Let me rub your feet. Let me get you some water. Let's provide comfort for the family while they're in the birthing space. A doula is somebody that is like, hey, um, like, could you please do this for this person? This is what they request during their birth. If you've been that person, you are already, yes, a doula. First off, to get your mind in that. Second off, there's a book I recommend that you read, which is The Birthing Partner. That is a great book to put you on the path. I also recommend that if you're not going through all those certifications, that's cool. Go and get a CPR, BLR, first aid responder. Uh, Go and get that piece of paper. So that way, if you are in the birthing space, that is something that allows you, a little more safety for yourself to know what to handle and what to do and what you're looking at in some cases. Um, Also, coming to I think we're saying March 30th, maybe the next one that we'll do at the store. Haven't figured that out yet. But come to the circle, because we're going to have classes where we're training you, and also connecting with you, because at the end of the day, what's happening in these birthing spaces and what's happening within our government, we're all affected. And you got elders who they not finna sit through, like I used to put people through several 30-hour a weekend, 10 hours a day training. Elders ain't finna do that. But they've been doing.
They've been doing the work, so they know it's in us. And I don't want to cut you off, Mama Lotus.
Yes.
I'm gonna cut you off a little bit, but we got about 2 more minutes left in our segment. So I wanted to we were talking about different events at the marketplace. I did want to ask you, how has the marketplace been helpful in supporting you as a healer? How's Mama Africa's Marketplace been able to do that? And just sharing it briefly about, Mama Africa's Marketplace in women.
Okay. So it provides a space for people to come and gather, where they can feel safe. They can come and collect themselves. They can come, and if I'm doing a class about something, I can tell you, you need to go get some such and such and such, and they can go right into the marketplace and they can grab whatever the things is that I'm talking about. And I try to be strategic about that kind of stuff anyway. I like people to have access to stuff, right? Access and invest in themselves. And so, Mama Africa's Marketplace has been able to, it's been a space where I could do that. Give people access to me, invest in themselves, going to buy whatever the products are, or invest in time with what I'm trying to share with them. And it's been a place that is a safe holding space where you can grow and expand and be able to connect communities with. Oh wow, okay, I forgot about that.
Well, we go close off right there, Mama Lotus. I want to say thank you so much for all you have done for our community, all you continue to do. I love to be able to give you your flowers and honor you today, and just say thank you for all you have done for me, my family, and also the community at large. So thank you. Continue to keep on doing what you're doing. We love you, and peace and love.
We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, Dhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, ngiyabonga. Senegal, jaref. Kenya, Asante. Israel, Toda. Pakistan, Shukriya. Afghanistan, Tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, Shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.